moment, but those of you who are joining us through social media or the website, your presence is no less welcome than if you were here in the gallery. Councillors, could I ask you please to be upstanding for the acknowledgement of country and the council prayer? I would like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the Daja country of the Daja Wurrung. We acknowledge that their forebears are the traditional owners of the area which we are on, and for many thousands of years they have guided our work. The Daja have performed age-old ceremonies of celebration, initiation and renewal. We acknowledge their living culture and their unique role in the life of our region. The Council Prayer: direct, O Lord, the work of Central Goldfields Shire Council and guide our deliberations. May our decisions advance the well-being of all our residents who have elected us to provide good leadership. This we pray. Amen. Councillors and those in the gallery, I apologise if the council prayer is not quite the one that you're normally used to. There's a little bit of improvisation, we couldn't quite find it, so a bit of recollection on my part. We have an agenda before us, so I will move straight to the agenda. Apologies, do we have any apologies? I think we've got a full house. So no apologies. Leave of absence, I think equally we're no leave of absence. Any conflicts of interest, councillors? No. No conflicts of interest? All right, we'll move to the confirmation of the minutes of the previous council meetings, item 5. They are listed there, the sets of meetings are listed there, 4 sets of council minutes from the 20th of October, the 27th of October, the 16th of November and the 17th of November. And the recommendation from the officers is the confirmation of the minutes of those meetings held on those dates. Is anyone prepared to move confirmation of the minutes? Look, there is some issue because not everyone was able to be present. I was able to be present through the virtual technology, so although I wouldn't normally move from the chair, I'm happy to move as someone who attended those, to move those confirmation of the minutes. Councillor Vella, are you prepared to second those?
I'll second that.
All those in favour? Those against? We confirm the minutes. So moving on, the next item of business is reports from committees. Obviously in the transition process we have none. So we'll then move to petitions, equally no petitions. So let's go to section 8 on the agenda, the officers' reports. Number 8.1, the advocacy regarding the closure of the Target store. Now, councillors, this has been discussed in the briefing session. Are there any questions? I think we're all fairly clear what the issue is. Are there any questions of the officers in relation to that at all? If not, is any councillor prepared to move? We've got officers' recommendations there in relation to that report. Is any councillor prepared to move the adoption of those recommendations? Councillor De Villiers, and a seconder. Councillor Long. Anyone talking against, want to talk against the motion? Okay, well I'll move then. Councillor De Villiers, do you want to speak to the motion at all?
No.
Okay. Councillor Long?
Yeah, I'll say a few words. I think it's a great idea. I don't know how much it will do, but I think it's good that we let our voice be heard, that we're concerned about the closure of the Target store.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Long. Any other councillors wanting to talk to that issue at all? Councillor Murphy.
I think it's good that we're
we're looking at the target store and the premises there. Also that we could be looking towards the landlord of the premises, so we can have a better, clear understanding of where they're heading with the premises. They may have something already ready to go, and there's obviously a lot of big item stores could go in there. So it'd be interesting to see if we could also chase up who owns the store and to chase up what their intentions are. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Any other councillors? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? The motion is carried. Now we move to 8.2, Instrument of Appointment and Authorisation. We have a report there that relates to statutory functions and the need for authorisation for our Planning and Compliance Officer to proceed to do their work. Well, when I say these things are routine, they're always very, very important delegations, but I think we can well understand from the report that this is something just that we need to do for that officer to undertake the work and the compliance work that's so important. There's an officer's recommendation there about the instrument of appointment and authorisation. There's three parts of that recommendation. Is any councillor prepared to move that? Thank you,
Also move.
Thank you. A second to Councillor Lovett. Councillor Davidians, do you want to talk to the motion? Do you want to talk to the motion at all?
Councillor Lavella.
Oh, Councillor Lavella. Sorry, I'm sorry about that.
My pleasure.
I wonder why you look so surprised.
Yes, I would briefly. The purpose of this report is to recommend Council approve the S11A Instrument of Appointment and Authorisation for the Statutory Planner and a Compliance Officer. The S11 Instrument of Appointment and Authorisation is made in accordance with Section 147 of the Planning and Environment Act 1987 and Section 313 of the Local Government Act 2020. Authorisation needs to be made for the Statutory Planner Officer Jacob Edmondson and a Compliance Officer Sarah Thurkel to be authorised officers under the Planning and Environment Act 1987. In particular, this authorisation gives officers the power to access property when required. So I move the recommendation. There's two parts of this recommendation. The Council adopts attached S11A Instrument of Appointment and Authorisation for members of the Council staff set out in the instrument. Number two, the attachment S11A Instrument of Appointment and Authorisation comes into force immediately and remains in force until Council determines to vary or revoke it. And number three, the attached S11A Instrument of Appointment and Authorisation be signed. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lavella. Councillor Lovett?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Any other councillors at all? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? The motion is carried. Item 8.3, Council Plan Action Plan Progress Report. Again, we've been spending some time in training and in briefing sessions reviewing some of the key projects. It's great to see the level of achievement and to get the accountability that this provides. So it's an important part of our management to actually note the 2020 and 2021 action plan and the progress that's has been summarised there. Any questions in relation to the action plan and the progress at all? If not, a mover of the recommendation, and the recommendation is that we note the status of the projects identified in the 2021 action plan. Councillor Lavella. Thank you very much. I won't make that mistake again. A seconder? Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Murphy. Councillor Vella.
Nothing to add.
Okay. Councillor Murphy.
No, it's good.
Any other councillors want to talk to that? I just want to congratulate the officers on the continued work that we're making. I think as a council, we will be taking very, very close note of the progress. We may want to make some changes, but we have a solid base of activity to work on and to review. And this report gives us a good summary of where we are, what the issues are, and I think congratulations to the CEO and our team for that work. Thank you for that. So I'll put the motion. All those in favour, all those against, the motion is carried. So that's just going back to my agenda now from the beginning, and yes, 8.4. Appointment of committees, that's right. Thank you. Thank you to the CEO for that. Now, again, this is something that we have discussed, and there are some nominations that are proposed there. There are a number of committees that support the work of councils. They obviously range from special purpose committees, task forces to asset committees. And the asset management committees are also important. They include obviously town halls, but in some cases other assets too. Now there are proposed appointments to those committees there. That's been the subject of discussion. On average, I think councillors appear about twice. I think I only get one of the general committees, but a few more of the asset management committees. So the recommendation is that we endorse those nominations as listed there. So is any questions first of all? I think we've worked through this in briefing sessions. I think it's all fairly clear. Are there any questions at all?
For the sake of the gallery, could someone read them out, please?
Okay, we'll do that. The last page. Right, so we have the Municipal Association of Victoria, Councillor Lavella as a primary nominee, and Councillor De Villiers. Just explain that. The reason that we've got a primary nominee, we actually only allowed one voting member. So that would be Councillor Vella, but Councillor De Villiers will be an active part of that. There will be a team working together, but as we can only have one voting member, we need to actually designate a primary nominee. The Audit and Risk Committee, that's a key part of council activities. It's prescribed under the Local Government Act 2020. We are required to have two councillor nominees to that committee, and the nominees are Councillor Murphy and Councillor Lovett. The Australia Day Committee is, I think, work in progress, but we know there's a lot of activities around Australia Day, and the intention, I gather, is to bring that work together, and the view is that all councillors should be part of that, reflecting the diversity of our various wards and the practices within it. Rural Councils Victoria is an activity that is very critical to small councils like our own, and that is something that we can collectively, we're a small council ourselves, but collectively with other small councils around Victoria, we can have a presence, particularly in relation to advocacy to levels of government, and the nomination for that is Councillor Lovett. The Grampian Central Waste and Resource Recovery Group, a key issue as waste and recycling, as we know, is a very critical issue and has been an emerging issue that will continue to be with us, and the nominee for that is Councillor Sproul. The Rail Freight Alliance, very important, particularly in relation to the Murray Basin and the rail freight that comes from the Murray Basin coming through Maryborough and moving to the ports, and the proposal is that I will handle that. The Economic Development Task Force, very, very important, particularly in terms of COVID recovery. We're making because of the importance of this, Council decided to make 2 nominations, and that's Councillor Bella and Councillor Sproul. The Central Victoria Greenhouse Alliance, and that's very important in terms of working collaboratively with those in our region on greenhouse issues and other climate issues, and the proposal is that Councillor Long will handle that. The Municipal Emergency Management Committee, critical in terms of emergencies. We'd rather not have emergencies. We hope we don't have to have emergencies, but in the event we have to be well prepared. Councillor de Villiers is the nominee for that. The Municipal Fire Management Committee, similarly, let's avoid fires at all costs, but Councillor Murphy is the nominee for that. Then there are 3 hall committees, asset management committees, that sit within my ward. That is the Adelaide, Leeds, Daisy Hill, and Talbot, and that is something that I take on as ward councillor. The Denolic Historic Precinct Management Committee, I think we all recognise a very significant development in Denali, focused around the courthouse and other historic buildings there. Councillor Long, as the ward councillor, will provide leadership there. And Energy Breakthrough Committee, we had one hand that went up very, very quickly for nominations there. We all regard Energy Breakthrough as something that's incredibly important. And we will see a revitalised, refreshed and very exciting return of Energy Breakthrough in 2021. But Councillor Long will be the council representative there. So that there has been, I think, a good balance there with all with councillors having a range of activities, also balancing skills and interests. We have a number of capabilities around the table, and we are using them, I think, to full effect in that. So I'll take a recommendation that the officer's recommendation is that the council nominate its representatives to the committees and organisations as detailed as I just read out. Anyone prepared to move that recommendation? Thank you, Councillor Sproul. A seconder. Councillor Mabella. I'm assuming no one wants to talk against that motion. I hope not, after all the discussion we've had. Councillor Sproul, do you want to talk to the motion?
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think you've covered everything there. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Mabella?
No, nothing to note, no.
Any other councillors? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour of the motion, those against the motion is carried. Thank you very much. And over time, of course, we'll be reporting back through council as those minutes come back to council and sharing those through the work of council with the gallery and in our minutes. Now, that concludes the officers' reports. Thank you to those who are involved in preparing those reports. Item 9, the use of the common seal, that is sealing documents for newer councillors, those in the gallery. That's when we have some official documents that require council to give ratification to those documents. We have none listed. Notices of motion, there are none listed. Is there any urgent business, councillors?
Mr. Mayor, over the weekend I was made aware of some ongoing issues relating to the Maryborough Airport that I believe need to be resolved quickly. Accordingly,
I'll take it. Would you like to move that as urgent business?
Accordingly, I'm seeking the approval of my fellow councillors to raise this as an item of urgent business.
Is there a seconder to that?
I will second that.
Thank you, Councillor Bella. Just to explain again to the gallery, urgent business are issues that have arisen since the agenda was prepared, and a business that in the view of the council cannot reasonably be left until the next agenda is prepared. Councillor Lovett, over to you.
Voted on.
Yeah, oh, sorry, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? The motion is carried. Thank you for that, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor and my
talking
fellow councillors. I move that the elected council meet with representatives of the Maryborough Aero Club, the hangar lessees and Shire staff in an effort to identify any problematic issues that are outstanding and to see how they can be resolved to everyone's satisfaction. Such a meeting to be held at the earliest possible time and to be chaired by the Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Lovett. Councillor Lavella?
I will concur with Councillor Jeff Lovett. I have also heard many confused and concerned members of our community state that it's a bit ambiguous, the whole airport drama, and I totally believe that we should all be around the table, all stakeholders, council and councillors, to discuss this issue.
Thank you, Councillor Lavella. Any other councillors talking to the motion? At all? Councillor Lovett?
I'd like to speak to the motion. In recent days, I have been made aware of considerable angst amongst various stakeholders of the Maryborough Airport. These pertain to ongoing lease issues and a perceived lack of consultation. If these issues are not resolved expeditiously, they could result in litigation that has the potential to cost the Shire hundreds of thousands of dollars. I am firmly of the view that if all stakeholders can sit down in a spirit of cooperation, a way forward can be found. This will benefit not only council and the airport stakeholders, but importantly, our community.
Thank you, Councillor Lovett. Any other councillors talking to that? Councillor Lavella, anything to add?
No.
Other councillors? Councillor De Villiers.
I would just like to express my thanks to Councillor Lovett for raising this issue, because it's come to my attention while I was still campaigning, and I've gained that it's quite urgent, and I would appreciate us addressing this as what's the word? Expeditiously as possible. What's the big word? As quickly as possible. Sorry, thank you.
I think the drift of it certainly is clear to Councillor De Villiers. Any other councillors? Look, I just want to add to that. During the election campaign, and even in the couple of weeks, it seems it's a couple of years since we were elected as councillors, we've heard from our residents about a number of issues. I'd have to say at the top of the list has been the concern about Maryborough Airport, the view that this is a key asset that we have, a key capability for our future, a key opportunity in terms of development, and a lot of uncertainty about where we're going and what the opportunities are, and some clearly unhappy people who've been part of the process. And I think what Councillor Lovett has proposed there is the way forward, and that is to get people around the table, to get the stakeholders around the table, to get the lessees here, and to try and work out together a way forward, to look at the future, to see what's possible, to understand where there are issues of concern. We might not be able to resolve those, but I think with goodwill around the table and willingness to discuss those and identify them, I think a way forward will emerge, even if there'll be a series of subsequent meetings or the need for a lot of activity or more work to be done. It's a great and an appropriate starting point. So, Councillor Lovett, thank you for raising that. I do believe that it genuinely is urgent business, given the lateness of the year. We are heading for Christmas. There is an expectation, I think, that this come up early. I think our community is looking for some leadership from its elected council. Councillor Lovett, you have brought that as urgent business. I genuinely believe it is. Thank you, Councillor Lovett, for your support and other councillors for accepting that. I'll put the motion then that Councillor Lovett's proposal be accepted. Those in favour? Those against? The motion is carried. Thank you very much, Councillor Lovett, for that. Now, with that, we have no confidential business. I think there's no other urgent business. Thank you. We have no confidential business requiring us to go into committee. So with that, we'll come to the end and I'll close the meeting. My apologies, we're all adjusting to technology. Some of us who are using technology to run meetings for the first time. And so while our training wheels will do better in the future with that. So I hope also those in the gallery that you can hear, I did hear, I think some of us heard that there were some concerns for what we call the statutory meeting when we were elected. Not everyone could hear that. So we are working on it. I understand we're also upgrading some of our technology. So it's always, this is a work in progress. We'll work to do better so that while we have virtual meetings, which hopefully won't be for long, we'll be able to bring people back to the gallery, although we'll continue to broadcast them, but we'll try and make those as clear and as a positive experience for those joining in as we can. So sorry for any, I take responsibility for any sort of, for any gaps in the process, but we will do better. Thank you so much. I'll close the meeting on that note. Thank you, councillors.
Thanks, Your Highness.